In this video, we will look at the process to create a question pool. We will learn to add our own questions and to import publisher test banks. Log into eLearning and enter your course. On the left-hand side, go into Control Panel, expand the course tools, and click on Test Surveys and Pools. We are going to work in the Pools area. This is the Pools dashboard. Here you can see that I already have 2 pools created. To build a new pool, you can click on Build a Pool. If you have a publisher test bank, you can import it using the Import Pool function. Now we will build a pool. We click on Build Pool. You're asked to enter pool information. This is meant to help you identify the pool for future use. We'll call this Chapter 2. Submit. We are on the pool canvas page. This is where we add questions. There are 3 options to add questions to the pool. The first option is to create a question from scratch. That's this button right here. As you can see, the drop-down expands the list of questions that Blackboard provides you. The other option is to find questions which already exist in your course. These could be questions in another pool or questions in another test that you've already deployed. And the third option is to upload questions. You can upload questions that have been exported from another test or pool, and that's in a Blackboard ready format. These are the 3 options to add questions to the pool. Today we'll look at creating a question. I'm going to hover my mouse over Create Question, and these are the various question types that Blackboard allows you. Please refer the video that covers each of these question types and their unique features. For the purpose of this demonstration, we'll create a pool with a few questions that are self-graded, which means where you can set up the correct answers and the system will automatically grade those questions. First, we'll create a multiple choice question. We'll click on multiple choice. Now we are in the Edit Question canvas. Any field with an asterisk is a required field. Question title is optional, but if you do, it will enable you to identify your questions easily to add them to your tests later. Question text is a mandatory field. This is where you would enter your actual question text. Notice the text editor toolbars at the top. You can also add in media like videos, attachments, images, and mashups within your question text. Next, we look at options. The first option setting is answer numbering. You can choose to number your answers or leave it without any numbering, and this is a best practice. The answer orientation. You can choose to allow partial credit, and you can choose to show answers in random order. I'm going to check this. This means every time this question is presented in any test, the answers will show up in a random order. This makes it difficult to predict the answers on this question. By default, the system provides you with 4 answer choices. You can expand this and increase the number of answer choices. Also notice that by default, the correct answer is always set to the first answer choice. So you will need to change this to the correct answer choice once you've entered your options. Let's now enter our answer choices. Notice that within each answer choice, which is a text box, you once again have the full service text editor and insert tools. To remove an answer choice, simply click on Remove. and make sure to select the correct answer. In this case, the correct answer is number 2. So I'm going to check the radio button. Once you've included your answers, the next step is feedback. It's a good practice to enter correct response and incorrect response feedback for every question. This enables the student to review the materials, whether they have answered the question correctly or not. Correct response feedback serves as a reinforcement that the student selected the right answer. It also helps you to add justifications or further information. Incorrect response feedback is where you encourage the student to look for the correct answer in their learning materials. It's a good practice to populate these two fields to the best extent possible. Next, we have categories and keywords. These labels help you to identify these questions for future use. For now, I'm going to leave this blank. Last, we have instructor notes. Here you can add notes for yourself or your teaching assistant that help in grading this question. Once you've made all these settings, we'll click Submit. And we're back to the pool canvas, and here is the question we just created. From the dashboard, you can see the question title, the question type, and a drop down next to the question title which lets you go back in and edit the question further. On the left hand side, you'll notice there is a drop down with question types. So every question you add gets added to the question type field, and you can pick and choose questions based on the type. Let's now add another question. We'll add a true false question. Question title. Each question has its own customized set of options. In this case, since it's a true false question, the option is to just select true or false. Once again, you'll see correct response feedback and incorrect response feedback, categories and keywords, and instructor notes. Let's submit. And our second question has been added to the pool. You can see the question text and the question type. And if I expand question type, you'll notice that a new type has been added, which is true false. Let's now create a matching type question. Create question, matching. Let's enter the question text. Now we move on to adding question and answer pairs. There are two separate boxes provided, one for the question and one for the answer that matches the question. Here's my question and answer pair. And this pair has a partial credit of 25%, which means if the student gets this pair correct, they get a 25% point value on this question. Moving on to the next pair, here you'll notice we have the option to reuse the answer choice from an already created pair. This makes the question more challenging. I'm going to enter my question, and instead of entering a unique answer, I'm going to select reuse answer choice from question answer pair 1. So you'll notice that the answer choice has been taken away, and the system will apply the answer choice from this pair. And I'm going to allow a partial credit of 25%. We'll create another question and answer pair. And a fourth. Now we've created our 4 question answer pairs. You now have an option to add unmatched answer choices to make the question more challenging. Let's select this. and add two answer choices that will not be associated with any question. Unmatched answer choice 1 and answer choice 2. These answer choices will be presented to the student as extras. This makes the question more challenging. We don't want a third unmatched answer choice, so I'm going to click on remove. So now we've created a matching question with a question title, 4 question answer pairs, where we are reusing one answer choice in 2 pairs, and we've added 2 unmatched answer choices in the mix. You can choose to manually order these questions and answer choices, or you can let the system choose to randomly present these answer choices. Once again, we have our correct response feedback and incorrect response feedback, categories and keywords, and instructor notes. Once you've populated all these fields, we'll go ahead and submit. The system is prompting me that the partial credit for the correct answers is not adding up to 100. So I'm going to go back up and look at the partial credit that I've added for the answers. Looks like one of my question answer choices has a 0 credit, and this is what is creating the mistake. So I'm going to add 25% partial credit. So each of my 4 question answer pairs is worth 25% of the total points. Let me now go ahead and submit, and my matching question has been created. And if I expand the question types, a matching question type has been added to cover this question type. This is the process to add questions to the pool. To view these questions, you can click on question details. To edit the questions, you can click on the drop down next to the question text. At this stage, you don't need to worry about default points because points will be added in the test creation stage. To go back to pools, you can follow the breadcrumbs at the top. In my pools area, I now see a chapter 2 pool with 3 questions and a timestamp. This is the process for creating pools.